Welcome back to the JLL Coaching Pod, episode 27, I believe. Making moves. It makes me proud to say I've done 27 episodes of a podcast. That's awesome. That's awesome. To me, that gets me pumped up. 27. That's more than 6 months of one a week. That is cool. That gets me amped up. I'm really excited about that. Today I'm going to talk about taking responsibility. Dostoevsky wrote, "You are not only responsible for yourself, but everyone around you." Or something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure, but it's something like that, and I didn't want to Google exactly what it is, because you get the idea. That's an awesome quote. Jordan Peterson, the famous psychologist, also talks about taking responsibility. Now, in a recent education with the team at work, Third Space Moorgate, shout outs, I always ask a question when I start an education. What is your vision? What's your purpose? Why are you a personal trainer? What are you doing here? And it's really hard to define your purpose and have clarity on your vision. That's a really hard thing to do. And I think it's something that's forever changing. A lot of people talk about being happy. And I'll always remember, I used to go to a gym called Body Limits Gym here in St Albans, where I live. And this kind of gym is like an old school bodybuilding gym. They've got amazing, phenomenal equipment. You can picture it as kind of like almost muggy. Doesn't actually smell bad, but it gives that vibe of mugginess and hardcore, and just like, it's an awesome gym. Loads of steroids, great place to be, loads of psychopaths battling their demons. But it is actually a really good gym, and the owners are cool, great spot. And one time, a good friend of mine that I used to walk to school with, called Daniel, he started a business when he was 18, a sweet business. And I asked him in the gym, just like we were catching up, "Are you happy?" So we just left school, I just asked him, "Are you happy?" And he didn't answer then and there. I think he came back to me. I think he messaged me later. And he was like, "I'm not pursuing happiness. I'm not chasing the feeling of happiness because it's an emotion. And happiness is a hard thing to grasp onto. It's quite... You know what it is when you are happy. I'm happy now. I feel that. I feel good. It's impossible to maintain that state forever. It's an emotional state of mind, and pursuing that is hard to do because you naturally can't always be there." And I think what Daniel was saying was he was pursuing purpose and meaning. So that took me like ages to really figure out. I remember I was sitting on a beach in Sydney, Australia, by myself on my day off. Cycled up some hills, was on a beach, chatting, and I think I was listening to the Jordan Peterson podcast with Joe Rogan, and they were talking about responsibility and taking responsibility, and it just hits you hard. If you pursue what's meaningful, rather than pursuing happiness, it sets you up for success, because sometimes you're just not going to be happy. And it's a state of mind that can't be there the whole time. You can't always be happy. You can pursue that naturally, but you're setting yourself up for failure. If you pursue meaning and responsibility, your overall well-being and your purpose, you have something that drives you, it will yield more back in the long term. That's truly my philosophy. I really believe in that. I think it's essential. I don't think pursuing happiness is the best pursuit. It's better to pursue something more meaningful. And this is pictured in the Bible. I'm not going to go deep into the story. I just heard Jordan Peterson talk about it today. Abraham. It's a story of Abraham. Like, he's lives at home with his dad until he's 70 or whatever, and then he gets this offer from God. If he leaves his home, he will become great, leader of the people, whatever. And that's the story of like pursuing happiness and materialistic short-term pleasures, or like being hedonistic, which I am, like I love these short-term pleasures. I love good food. I absolutely love it. It's the best. But pursuing these short-term pleasures are kind of like that immature, you're still coddled mind, whatever. You're still protected by your father figure or that father figure in society or culture. But once you get past that, you pursue responsibility rather than just these short-term pleasures, which is super powerful. And I think as coaches and personal trainers, taking full responsibility for yourself and for your clients in terms of well-being and outcomes and the service you provide and who you are as a human being and what you do is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely phenomenal. And one thing that honestly, it pisses me off. And I think I can imagine this is something in the future that I change my mind on. But it's PTs who don't progress as a personal trainer. PTs who don't train, or if they do train, they don't train vigorously. They don't hit personal bests. They don't try and become a better version of themselves. That, for me, it's hard to accept that because it's such an important part of being a personal trainer is training hard and creating those adaptations for yourself and therefore others. And if you don't do it for yourself, if you're not PBing, if you're not getting better as a coach or a PT, how can you expect your clients to? And if you're not doing it for yourself, why should they? And yes, there's ebbs and flows of training. There's ebbs and flows of sport and life, expansion, compression. But it's the pursuit. It's that show up no matter what. Everyone can get good results. Like, you can PB for 20, 30 years. My mum's PBing. She's 63, turning 64 in a few days. Like, everyone can PB and get better. Same thing goes with furthering your understanding. The great thing about the gym I work at is most trainers are really grappling and trying to get better, and that's such a beautiful environment to be in. I just have the feeling that generally in our industry, not the culture isn't always like that everywhere you look. Some people get complacent, or they get satisfied with where they are, or they simply don't know how to get the PBs. And they stop asking questions why. They stop learning. Oh, I've done my studying. I'm a personal trainer now. I don't need to go any further. I don't need to go deeper into this. And you might get to a point where you're like, or you might even not have the awareness, but that pause and that reflection of where you are, where you want to be, and why. If you have those things dialed, if you have those things with a good sense of clarity, it should drive you in every area of your life to move towards improving. You've got a deep reason why you should push harder. You've got that vision, you've got that purpose. To be honest, driving adaptations and getting personal best is not bloody easy. What's easy is to make excuses why you're not. That's straight up. That's what's easy. To make excuses why you're not. And like, there have been periods, 100% with me, I've made excuses why I haven't made progress. The best progress I've been making with regards to percentage gains is probably the last 2 years, which is crazy to say because I'm not 18 anymore, or 16 when you've got like way more natural hormones in your body and you probably should do better. But I've been making significant, like 20% weight jump gains in the gym, which is like, that's silly. But as well, I'm in my prime. Come on, let's go. There's no excuses there. But yeah, I think the purpose of this podcast is just to kind of think more deeply about what your purpose is and why you're doing what you're doing. As a personal trainer, as a coach, like for me, it's the purpose is to objectively and subjectively improve the quality of the lives of the people that I work with. Now, objectively, that can be health metrics, that can be strength metrics, body weight, that can be cardiovascular measurements, like how fit you are. That could even just be general well-being, how you feel about your life and yourself. That's more subjective. But all of these metrics, that's what I love to drive. That's really what I do, why I do what I do, to try and help people get these awesome objective and subjective outcomes that improve the quality of life or move them in a direction that they want to move. And I'm just a facilitator, like I'm just trying to kind of apply what I've learned to them and guide them along that process from where they are to where they want to be. And that is like, that brings me so much meaning to think of my work as something like that. And I think you can find that meaning in any job you have, but trying to find the clarity finding the clarity in there, the reason why you do what you do. It's like, I can't not PB. I can't not. There's no option but to hit a personal best. That's the only option, because I want to set the tone. I want to set the tone for myself and every single person I work with, as well as those people around me. If I'm not hitting all-time bests, and I'm not driving things in the right direction where I want to go, where I want other people to go, I'm not aligning with my purpose, and then I'm completely off this path, and I'm going down a direction that doesn't envision who I want to be. And that would be why I wouldn't feel like I've got a good subjective place in the world. What I'm saying is, you got to PB, no matter what. You got to go after these PBs. You got to take responsibility for yourself and those around you, and PB, just like Dostoevsky said. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. It was a short one. It got me going. These were thoughts on my mind. Hope you have a great day. Goodbye.